Hi guys, today we're reacting to
RenderForest.com.
the lost episode of Sid the Science Kid.
Do you know the show Sid the Science Kid? Well, if
yes.
not, I'll explain. Sid the Science Kid is a PBS kids show for kids.
Yes.
It's about a boy named Sid and his friends, Gabriella, May, and
Guys, do you remember this show, guys?
Gerald. They all go to school and their teacher Susie, teaches them about science. For example, in season 1, episode 8, the title is called My Ice Pops. Teacher Susie teaches the kids how liquids can freeze and melt.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, this happened when I was younger.
Did you
I
ever
don't know
learn
how
that?
old I was exactly, but around between 7 and 10 years old. It started as a normal day. My iPad was watching YouTube videos. I was on my iPad watching YouTube videos.
Was watching YouTube videos?
After watching the video, I saw something that caught my eye, and it was the start of the thumbnail of Sid the Science Kid.
Okay.
But he looked weird. Like he was looking up.
Like, did his hair look weird? Did his face look weird?
At something, but his pupils in his eyes were very small.
What?
On that right note of the thumbnail, it said Lost Episode.
Oh.
Being young and curious kid.
Well, remember kids, don't click on lost episodes of shows.
It was. I clicked on
And
it.
don't forget to like
I don't
and
think I
subscribe.
ever knew what a lost episode was.
Really?
However, since I saw Sid the Science Kid and I liked the show, it was actually my curiosity, and my mind thought, hey, I'll click on that.
Yeah.
Let me explain the episode of how it went. The episode started off without the intro.
Oh.
It didn't even look like the show's logo. While the music was being played in the background, it faded and the show shows Sid's kitchen.
Oh.
The camera then enters to Sid's kitchen, and Sid came out of the kitchen whistling. He looked at the camera and waving and said, "Oh, hi, I'm
hi,
Sid." Then he started to jump up and down in excitement while saying,
Wow.
"And I have lots and lots of questions."
Me too.
And then he looked over and see his mom and dad in the kitchen. Then said, "Oh, Mom. Oh, there's Mom and Dad.
Oh.
I always
Yeah.
ask them questions, and
Yes.
today I have a really big question."
What's your question, Sid? I can answer it.
Even though the episode just started, I was enjoying it so far. Sid then turned to his parents and said, "Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. Hey, buddy," Sid's dad replied. "I have a really important question," Sid said. "I want to know, where did I come from?"
You came from your mother.
His dad said. "Where did you come from?" He started to get nervous and walked over to Sid's mom, Alice, expecting her to help him explain. Yes, said Sid's mom while
Yes,
Sid was
what?
starting to nod his head while his parents was waiting to answer his question. "Well, we might as well tell him the truth,"
Tell him
Sid's
the
mom
truth.
said. "Yeah," Sid's dad whispered back, agreeing with Sid's mom and their decision. Sid's mom then put her hands on her knees and got lower to Sid's level while she said this. "I'll tell you what, Sid." Then she pointed out what seemed to be on the counter that had the question box. "You walk right through that wall and you'll find out exactly where you came from." Sid had a
Okay.
confused look on his
Kids.
face. "What?" he said. He then turned to the camera.
Kids, that's how you... If you wonder where you came from, just go through your, like... Whatever it is, and...
Mom and Dad have totally lost it. Sid's dad heard him say that and started to walk over to the counter. Well, he said, No, you really, you can do it. Just go to the wall and ask the big question."
Yeah, go for the
Here,
wall.
look. Sid's dad reached for his arm to the wall, and it started to go through. Sid was surprised. While jumping a little from his excitement, he said, "Whoa, that's really cool. Okay, let me try." Sid walked into the counter and then he started to go through it. He turned around and his voice echoed and said, "Oh, this is weird, but awesome. Okay, bye," he said as he walked past through the wall entirely. Sid's parents then waved bye to Sid. Then it cuts to the middle of the office-looking area. The camera showed a blank white wall. Sid was coming out of the white wall when he saw that he was in the room.
Seems like weird.
He was surprised. "Whoa," he said, stepping back a little. The camera then cut to a bunch of people. They were both men and women, and they were sitting on chairs and looking at computers.
Well, this episode seems like
However,
really,
they
really
weren't
weird.
the animated style of the show. They were real humans like you and me. When they were all heard Sid's voice, they all turned around. Some of them even waved at him. While they said this, they all said in illusion, "Hi, Sid." The camera then cut back
Do
to
they,
Sid.
know him?
Oh, hey, hi, Sid said nervously while laughing at the end. He started to walk closer, but where he got there, he said, where do you guys know where I come from? He laughed
do you
again.
know where Sid
One of
comes
the
from?
guys were the closest to him and said, "Why, yes, we do." "Oh," Sid said, while his eyes
Really?
widened in interest. The camera then faded to a statue of Sid and his friends made out of clay. "You
What?
see, Sid?"
He's made out of clay? Well, that's weird.
The man started. "You started as a chunk of clay, and then it was sculpted to what you look like." "Wow,"
Weird.
said Sid. "A miracle of science." The camera then showed the computer screen with Sid's body in the shape of it. Then, the man continued, "Your clay was scanned into the computer on the super high tech known as the computer." "Wow," said Sid. He then looked around the office and looked around again. "At which point, you'll become the series of zeros and ones,"
What?
said the man. "Wow, I feel so loved,"
Yeah,
said Sid while looking
I
around the
feel
room
loved
again.
too.
"And finally, you officially became a digital puppet," said the
What?
man. "Now your every moment
Sid's a puppet? That's weird.
is controlled by your world's famous puppeteers and bodysuit performers."
What?
"What?" said Sid while scratching his head. "And now," the man continued, "our highly trained staff of digital puppet scientists shall explain the fascinating and easy and understand to technical side of digital puppetry." "Okay," said Sid while confused. There was a lot of the rest of this
Well, I'm
scene,
kind of confused right now.
but they just talked about how Sid was made and how they put him together in the show.
Well, that's
How they
boring.
made him move, how they do his voice, and more. Sid was starting to get bored.
I'm getting bored too,
I
Sid.
was as well. After a few moments of them talking, Sid decided that he wanted to get out of there. "Okay, Sid said as the camera cut back to men and women in chairs. "Well, good luck with all the stuff we just said," Sid
Good
said,
luck.
"and I'll be going now." Then he laughed nervously. "Bye," he shouted before turning around and started towards back to the wall where he came from. Then it cut back to Sid's kitchen. His mom and dad were waiting for him. Sid quickly came out of from the counter, and he was scared, had a scared look on his face. He was also out of breath. "Hey, look who's back," said
It's
Sid's
Sid.
dad. "What did you think, son?" Sid said, very
was
afraid.
weird.
"I
thought
never
it
want to
was-
go
I thought it was weird.
back to that world again. I don't even want to think about it."
Me
"Oh, you
either.
don't have to," said Sid's mom, while she and Sid's dad both put on sunglasses. "Yeah," Sid said. "Just, take a look right there." Then he put some sort of stick right out in front of the Sid and pointed to the top. "Okay," Sid said nervously. The top of the stick then rose up and began making beeping noises. Then it cuts back to the parents. The stick then flashed white 2 times, and then it cut back to Sid. Sid stepped back with his pupils as if they shrank, like this was I saw in the thumbnail. The usual background music began to play again. Sid's eyes started to go back to normal. He then closed his eyes and shook his head. While Sid's parents started to take off their sunglasses, Sid said, "Okay, I'm ready to start my day." He then said in his usual excited voice, "Can I go play with my friends?" he asked. "Sure, sweetie," said Sid's mom. "Yay," said Sid while bouncing with excitement. He then turned around and almost ran right into the counter where he came from. "Whoops," he said. "I almost ran into the counter."
Yeah.
Sid then
you don't
walked
wanna
the
run
other
to
way
the
and gets
counter.
out of the kitchen. He walked out of the kitchen. Sid's parents all both looked at each other and laughed. Then they went back to where they were doing before, and it came into the kitchen. It then faded to a white screen and showed the show's logo in the middle of it. The episode then ended without credits. It just ended with the Jim Henson logo.
Well, that's
I
weird.
was kind of confused after that episode. I got a little scared and I closed my eyes and went back to watching the YouTube videos. I did not want to tell my parents about this because
Yeah.
I feel like telling them about the episode just hope that maybe I'll forget about it. A few years went by now and I was 12 years old. The episode episode did not leave my memory.
How did
I
it
still
not
try to
leave
search it
your
up on
memory?
YouTube to see if it was still there after some years. I searched up Sid the Science Kid Lost Episode. To my surprise, the episode was still on YouTube.
Like, how is that still on YouTube? Like,
It was the very
and
first
how is that
video
still
that
in
popped
your
up.
memory?
However, something was different. The thumbnail was different from what I saw when I was younger. This time it showed Sid talking to his parents. No shrunken pupils, no text with it. The thumbnail just showed Sid talking to his parents. I guess the original video was deleted. I clicked on the episode and watched it. Since I was younger back then, my memory wasn't good yet, but I didn't remember that many parts of the episode. The parts that I do remember, though, were people telling Sid about how he was made and his parents flashing the light at his face. Since I was older,
Wow.
I understood what happened in the episode better than from when I was younger. Sid's parents wiped his memory with that flash of light. I
Oh,
just
they
then just
wiped his
realized that they
memory.
had done the same thing in the movie Men in Black.
I've not seen that movie.
Man in Black. They used to stick that movie in to wipe kids' memories. I was confused. Why was that episode made? Why did
I don't know.
PBS Kids approve of this? If any of this kid watches it, they would have been confused, especially if they haven't seen the movie. It was rated for older people, PG-13.
Yes.
You got on Tinder to find a summer fling,
No.
but you accidentally found a fall.
And that, my little pretties, was Sid the Science Kid Lost Episode, Where Did I Come From? A Sid the Science Kid Lost Episode creepypasta, written by Tay11. Thank you so much, Tay11, for sending me the story. My final thoughts on the story. This is actually a very decent and really well-made Lost Episode creepypasta. Now, I'm going to be completely honest right now that the stories that I went to see on, Goshio Wiki the other day, they do have news stories that have the grammar, more improved.
Okay.
But they were just, but they just don't, it doesn't seem to, be working right now, because it's sad that Goshio
That's
Wiki,
sad.
I understand they're trying to improve a little more, but with all due sincerity, it's just, what I'm being honest, is like, it's not as good as, as it used to be. It's not good. Well, Goshio Wiki's not good because,
Well, I'm gonna stop it here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is the end of this video. Bye.